Hello, Stampin' friends, and welcome back to Ray's Create Cards. I am Ray Henderson, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Morristown, Tennessee, and I hope everybody has been having a very blessed week. I gotta tell you, I kept struggling coming up with a card I wanted to do for the video. I wanted to do something a little different, something that I had not seen done, something a little on the unique side, and I kept going round and round with it. And finally, actually, that should have been my first step, but I actually prayed about it last night, and I said, God, I need you to kind of help guide me on this because I couldn't focus and I couldn't get it pinned down. And when I got up this morning, it just came together. It did. And so I want to share with you the creativity and hope that it inspires you to duplicate this card. Honestly, originally I'd planned on doing one more summer themed card. That was my intention. But honestly, the evenings are getting down into the 60s. Leaves are already starting to turn outside, and to be very honest, with the high heat and the high humidity that we have had to deal with, I think now at this point we're all ready for some relief, okay? So we have turned this video toward fall, maybe a little bit early, but that's okay. All right, I have done a previous video with this Hello Harvest set, and we're going to do another one today, and it's going to look quite a bit different than the original one because I think on that one we did the W fold card. If you haven't seen that video, go back and find it. It came out really, really cute. It truly did. Okay, so today's card, we are going to have a traditional card base out of Early Espresso, and it's your typical 8.5 by 4.5, 8.5 by 4.5, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And let's just go ahead and get that burnished, and then we'll put that to the side and continue on. I did do a little bit of prepping for today's video. I have already got my inside piece stamped, and I'm going to be using Very Vanilla on the inside and outside of this card. So this is a piece that's going to go on the inside, and from the Hello Harvest set, we will be, for the outside of the card, using this and die cutting that out with the banner die that goes with it. But for the inside, I am going to stamp You Are Such a Blessing, and I have picked Cajun Craze as one of my colors on today's card. And hopefully, because I haven't tested my stamp, and do I even have a piece of scratch paper laying here? I don't. Hopefully I've got this on my block straight. I did give my little blocks a bath today. They missed their weekly bath last week, so they were in dire need. All right, so I'm just going to take and hopefully stamp this somewhat straight. And as you've heard me say many times, if it isn't straight, we're going with it, right? Okay, did that stamp straight? Actually, not too bad. Maybe it could have been a little bit better, but that's okay. Let me get my little chamois here. Y'all know me. I am such a stickler for cleaning my stamps. There we go. Now I know if yours truly gets our fingers too close, it'll be okay. One of the other stamps in that set is a small little sunflower, and I just wanted to take and stamp it down here in the corner, and then I'm going to stamp it again. I'm going to stamp it again, and then I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm going to stamp it there, and I'm going to stamp it there. So there we go. We have this little cluster of fall flowers on the inside corner, and let's just put this away until we're ready to put it inside our card base. And I am going to take a scrap of Very Vanilla, and I already have my banner greeting mounted on a block. a nice, clean, shiny block. Isn't that awesome? Make sure I'm inked up. It looks okay. And let's turn this. I'm just going to stamp this, being mindful that this is a good size scrap. Leave room for the die cutting, but also leave room for some leftovers, because I have found even your smaller scraps absolutely do come in handy. All right, so we'll lay that to the side for the moment, and let me clean this one very quickly. There's not a whole lot to this card, but I think it came out rather spiffy. I think it did, and I hope you do too. Yes, I did make a sample card earlier. I did. I am going to use the leaf stamp, but I'm going to bring in another color. I'm going to bring in Pizzazz, and let's just lay that right there. And I've got a sponge dauber for the Pizzazz and a sponge dauber for the, oh, and I didn't clean that one. I didn't. Give me just a sec, guys. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Oh my goodness. I had Cajun Craze ink all over me earlier. I think I got rid of most of it, but let's not go there again today. Okay, so I'm going to take my Pizzazz, and rather than dip the stamp into the stamp pad, I'm just going to get a little bit of ink on this dauber and just kind of fill that whole stamp in, like so. A little bit more on there. Pizzazz is not a really dark, in-your-face green, like maybe Mossy Meadow or Shaded Spruce or even Evening Evergreen. It's a more mellow green, and a lot of times our fall leaves are a little bit more mellow. Okay, I'm going to bring in the Cajun Craze, and Cajun Craze is in your face color. It's very vivid, and I'm just kind of going a little bit around the edges. No rhyme or reason. All right, and I have got a couple of very small scraps here, and I can use those. They're plenty big enough for me to stamp and die cut on. All right, so here's one leaf. You kind of see how that came out? Isn't that pretty? I think it's kind of fallish looking. And of course, if you replicate this card or replicate any of the techniques, you pick your colors. You might want some red and yellow leaves, or orange and yellow, or orange and red. I've seen so many different color combos used for leaves, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, one more time, because I want two of these on the front of the card. And just in case that was still a little bit damp from cleaning it on my chamois, and dot that a little bit more. Let's come back in with the Cajun Craze, just a little bit around the edges. So Tuesday, I was able to play hooky from all of my responsibilities, and some of us got together. It was me, my mother-in-law. Now I call her Mom, so if you ever hear me talk about Mom, it's actually my mother-in-law that I am referring to. Let's stamp this down. My sister-in-law, Linda, and cousin Marilyn. We all went to Sevierville together, and we went to Hamrick's. And even though it's just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road, I had never been to Hamrick's. Yours truly has a really hard time just letting go and going somewhere and going out and having fun. I feel like, oh, there's always a lot of responsibilities. Do you remember the story of Mary and Martha in the Bible? And Jesus came to visit them. And you had the one sister who, which was Martha, and she was one of those who stressed over all the little details and having all of her little ducks lined up, and she couldn't understand why Mary was not helping out and was actually sitting with Jesus and listening to everything he had to say. And so Martha kind of fussed at her a little bit for it. Yeah, I identify with that so much. I tend not to stop and smell the flowers. I want to think I do, but I really don't. Like if there's laundry to be done, and dirty bathroom to get cleaned, and there's dusting, and there's vacuuming, and all that kind of thing to do, I tend to just kind of want to be at home and get all my little ducks in a row. But we had the best time. I loved it. Okay, as you can see, I brought Mini Me out of retirement. This is the Mini Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine. I just didn't feel like giving Big Boss his bath, and didn't feel like, oh, I don't even have my leaf die out. Let's get that out. Can I talk and do this at the same time? I don't know. But anyway, we had a really good time. We went to Cracker Barrel and all got to eat together. And I think every one of us ordered something different. But it was wonderful. It was such a wonderful time. So, note to self, get out more and stress less. And so I'm going to endeavor to do just that from now on. All right, let's get this little leaf cranked through here. Hopefully it's not shaking the camera. I hope it's not. Okay, all too soon it'll be time to get the cold weather clothes out and put away a lot of the summer things. I'm not going to pretend that I just have tons of clothes, but I do like to put them away when they're out of season, and I put them in their storage closet, and then it's always fun to have to go and get them back out and do a swap out. I don't have room for both of them because I didn't plan that very well, did I? All right, let me get this back in here. All right, so yours truly never ordered another set of plates, and this one is a little bit bowed. This is the original plate, and even though I was using this hard and heavy at one point, I haven't used them in a while and forgot that I really should have ordered more plates. I mean, they don't last forever, right? So, all right, I think we're together here. Let's run this one through. Oh, I'm a little bit close to the side, running my plates through. Hopefully that won't hurt anything. We got this one die cut. But it's really kind of nice to use the Mini Me and not have that big one taking up so much of the space up here, filling up the whole camera. Okay, so now we have our second leaf. And let me get my die put back. I would rather lose a die cut than a die. Absolutely, any day of the week, because you can always recut it, right? All right, let's get our little banner going here. I love this set, guys, and I can see the ability to be able to use this even when it's not like the fall. I mean, why couldn't you use this banner and this banner die cut for any kind of card? Wishing you the loveliest day for any time of the year. Okay, let's put this on top. Get this started. And then we're going to be done. I went ahead, and I will show you here in just a second. I went ahead and pre-cut the layers for the front of the card. I pre-cut out the pumpkin. Oh, I think that might have shifted a little bit. That shift a little bit? I think it did. Let's see how bad that looks. I might have to redo this just so it looks good. Let me see here. Hopefully not. because again, I'm ever mindful of how long my videos are. Your time is valuable, and I get that. That's not too bad. There might be a little bit more of a border here than here, but it's not enough to look wonky, I don't think. So I'm going to save this. I've still got quite a bit of Very Vanilla on that piece that I can use on another project. And let me get my banner die put back in here. How did I have that? Let's see. Yeah, just like that, kind of, sort of. Well, at least it's in there. It's in there and it's saving its sound, so I'm happy. Okay, the other thing, and I'm going to go ahead and just put this away. Let me just kind of slide my plates in here for safekeeping. If I can get that started. There we go. Now they're snug in there. I did pre-do the pumpkin. I'll show you that. The little pumpkin stem and the little flourish. Okay, so let's bring our card base back in. At this point, we will go ahead and we will put this to the inside of the card. And then that will be out of the way, so that here very quickly this front is going to come together. When it does, we're done. And I just appreciate each and every one of you taking time to watch my video. For those of you who have subscribed to me, thank you so much. You are such a blessing, and I do appreciate it. And, you know, YouTube notifies us whenever someone subscribes, but I don't have any way to reach out to you and tell you thank you, other than to tell you thank you in my videos, okay? But yes, thank you. I appreciate you more than you know. All right, I'm just going to burnish that one more time. It wasn't laying quite as flat as I wanted it to. All right, what I did is I got out my scallop contour dies, and I cut a layer using the biggest scalloped contour die, which, let me get one of these back in its place, which is this one. And I cut it out of that Distress Gold DSP, okay? And since I wanted one of those little curly cues, or that's what I call it, for the pumpkin stem and the pumpkin stem, and I wanted them also out of this Distress Gold. So I did go ahead and die cut from the middle of this, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and just attach this quickly to the front of the card. And like I said, once we just plop everything down, it's gonna be one and done. Okay, and I am very close, guys. I am very close to 500 subscribers. And you know, if you had told me that a few months ago, I'd have said no way. And it's just been amazing to me. Truly amazing. All right, I am looking to try to have the same borders, top, bottom, side, side, all of it kind of come together. I'm looking to see if I'm at least straight. I'm not. Did I put enough glue to where I can kind of sketch that over a little? Now let me see. Oh, that's much better. Oh, that is much better. Yeah. Okay, we're good there. Now, I took Very Vanilla, and with that second largest scallop contour die, I cut this out, and then I sent it through. Can you see all that pretty detail? Oh my gosh, I love it every time. I've used this folder a few times already, but each and every time I use it, it's still like, oh, that's awesome. But it is the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. And because this layer was a little smaller, I was actually able to get more of the leaf embossing on this piece right here. However, some of it's going to be cut up and covered up, and so it doesn't matter whether the whole thing got embossed or not. That is such a beautiful embossing folder. So pretty. I'm a leaf person anyway. And I would give anything if Love of Leaves was to come back. I've still got that in my stash. I am not going to get rid of it. I love it. All right, we've got that on there. So you see how this is coming together. So we have that really dark espresso card base, and then we have a little bit of glitz in that distressed gold, and then we're toning it down just a little bit and brightening it up with that very vanilla. All right, now I did the pumpkins as I told you. I've already die cut them out, and I die cut them out of Cajun Craze, and I don't know if you can see, when you die cut it, it puts some texture in there. Pumpkins are textured, right? So that is in there. And now what we need to do is go ahead and take these two pieces and glue them together so that our pumpkin is completed. I suppose if you wanted to do a pumpkin and a tall, skinny pumpkin, I guess you could do that, but those are actually made, in my opinion, to layer together. You may not see it that way, and that's great because we are all different, and we approach things a little differently, do things a little differently, and that's actually an awesome blessing. I love it. I see people do things I would never think of to do. Okay, so I think that's going to set up just fine. And let me get my little stem here if I can pick it up. Now this Distressed Gold DSP, do you see how thin that is? I mean, it really is just a paper. Don't feel bad. Like, I had the opportunity to die cut out of this layer because I knew I'd be covering it up. If you don't want to die cut it, don't feel like you're not being frugal. Now, if it was the one of the metallics, like the metallic gold or copper, yeah, I'd be a little bit more fussy because that stuff, in my opinion, is a little bit more expensive. Okay, so here's my little stem. I just got just enough glue, kind of stick that on the back. I don't want the fat part showing, and I don't mind if that's just a little bit to the side. I really don't. We're going to straighten it up a little bit more. And I need my tweezers. Where did I put them? There they are. And my fine line glue for that little curly Q. There's actually 2 and 3 dies in this set for this. So you have a choice. The other one, I think, is a little bit shorter. And that third one may actually be like just a long piece of foliage. And it's not going to take much glue. But I do need a little bit of help to hold the little thing. Okay. And I kind of want it coming down about like that. Yep. And see, that was plenty of glue. See how flat that's laying? That will be just fine on there. Even though some of that has got texture in it. This glue is strong like Tombow as well. Okay, on the bottom of the card, now I want my little pumpkin sitting like it's sitting with leaves and things around it. It's an outdoor pumpkin. It's not sitting in someone's house. It's an outdoor pumpkin. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue right in here. I think I got more than a little bit. Let me kind of smooth that out. Good gravy. And somewhere just toward the middle is where I'm going to angle it. And just have one going to the left. And we're going to have the other one going to the right if I get it picked up today. So, oh yeah, 2 sides to the cardstock, right guys? Like, I stamped this the first time and it just didn't look right. Like maybe it had moved a little or slid when I stamped it, so I redid it. And it looked the same, but it was okay. And I thought, well, maybe I didn't mess it up. By that time, I had already stamped it on the other side. That's funny. And I use my scraps, people. You want me to show you a card? So I got in here the other day, and I was determined to start making cards again with scraps because I have so much fun doing that. So I came in here, and this is what I came up with. Look at that. And we may have to do a video on that. Again, I used that Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder, and I know you can't see it on camera. When all was said and done, I spritzed it with shimmer mist. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it anymore, but I know a lot of us have it in our stash. And I don't even remember, this was probably a couple years old. This came in some kind of an ephemera pack. I don't even remember now what it was connected to. I actually have 2 or 3 of these pieces still left. And so I just kind of took my scissors and I was just zigzagging. I wasn't trying to be straight, and I cut it in half. So somewhere in here in my mess is the other half of this for another card. And I know you can't maybe tell it. This is actually very vanilla with, again, the layer of early espresso, very vanilla leaf. And I took a splatter stamp and stamped it off in crumb cake a couple of times, and then I just splattered the little leaves. And yes, this is a retired set. I do believe this was Love of Leaves. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun to do. So we may have to replicate that card, except use things that are current so that you guys can get current supplies. All right, our little pumpkin at this point is ready to go on here. I am not going to pop him up on dimensionals. I'm just going to glue his little self down to the card. I always like to try to kind of make a bridge of glue between my 2 pieces that are together. And it may not make any difference. It may just be me. And so we're going to set our little pumpkin down right there. I tell you what, I'm wishing that I had been able to grow pumpkins and watermelons and other melons this year. Maybe next year. Now, the wishing you the loveliest day, I am going to pop up. Where's my dimensionals? There we go. And I think I need my little ones too. Do I have any? Do I have any small ones over here? No, but that's okay. We'll make it work. That's all right. So, when we go camping in October, we will be doing our share of campfires, but we will also be doing our share of cooking outside over the fire. One of the things we love to do anytime we go camping in the fall is homemade chili. Oh my heavens. And I tell you too, Dillard does all the cooking. Like, he won't do it at home. Although, you know, to be fair to him, there are times he'll surprise me. I'll come in from work and he'll already have something put together. But for the most part, it's on me. But when we go camping, it's all him. He does the prepping of the food. He does the cooking of the food. He cleans up the grill and everything. I mean, how pampered can that be? So, yeah, it's awesome. But he makes a really, really good chili, too. So, and it's just so neat to sit out there by the fire while it's cooking. You're smelling the wood smoke. You're smelling the food cooking, and you know, it's getting there. Well, I wasn't having an issue with these earlier, but I am now. So if any time you have dimensionals that are giving you a hard time maybe getting the backings off, or you're not with it that day, just kind of take your fingernail and pinch into it, press into it, and it'll pop that right up so that you can get a hold of it. I've tried using the pokey tool to take the backings off with, and it kind of works. It's just not me. It's just not. Or at least not right now. All right, we're going to pop this up here, and I'm looking at the banner tails and the sides. First of all, I do want to make sure that's straight before I all the way mash it down. That's looking pretty straight, I think. Maybe. Yeah, I think we're good. I really do. Okay. And even with the distressed gold paper and all the bling that's going on with the pumpkin, I thought it could still use a little something, something. And so I've got my metallic pearls here. And when I had them out earlier, I noticed there is one. Can you see that one right there? Somehow it didn't get its coating. It didn't get its metallic finish. It looks like a drop of caramel. Caramel? Caramel? Whichever way you say it. All right. We're going to get a couple of these. They're all the same size, and so you don't have to worry about what size do I want to use. Doesn't matter. They're all the same size. And as you can tell, I haven't even gotten into my silver yet, but I will. They're so pretty. And I'm going to stick one right there. And Mr. Caramel will just have to wait, or caramel. Most people around here say caramel. I've been blessed in my life to have a wonderful variety of friends over the years from different countries and different areas of the United States with their different accents and ways of saying things. And some of that just kind of rubbed off. So, if you didn't know I was Southern, sometimes you would, you wouldn't figure that out. But anyway. Okay, guys. There's our little bit of bling on our card. And I'm really, really wanting to hit it with some shimmer spray. However, I think enough is enough. What do you think? That came together really easy. Yes, I had pre-done some of it off camera, but honestly, if you were to go into your card room and start whipping this out, you would find that you could get these put together very quickly, and you could mass produce it. It has a little bit more than a SIP card, a stamp, ink, and paper. It does, but none of this is hard. None of it. So anyway, guys, y'all be blessed. You are such a blessing to me. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, for giving me a thumbs up. I'm going to have all the supplies listed below the video. They are going to be direct links to my store. I would appreciate it if you are able to place an order with me. And it's something I never talk about. I always send free gifts with an order of $50 or more. I always do. My customers here in the local area all know this. And hopefully it's something they anticipate and look forward to. So before I sign off, I'm going to leave you with a little cheesy joke. Why can't you hear a cow on a video call? He keeps getting mooted. Get it? Mooted. Anyway, I know that was so cheesy. When that popped up on ALEXA the other day, I thought, oh my heavens, that ain't right. So guys, y'all keep laughing, keep smiling, keep being grateful, and we will meet again next week. Bye.